Hello, Brick Sculptors, and welcome back to Brick Sculpt. This is Chris, and we are going to build trees again. But this time we're not doing oak trees, we're doing pine trees. Now, if you watch my content regularly, you'll know I just went to the Lego store and had an amazing pickup of all kinds of awesome greenery pieces, including all of these fern pieces. Now, I have a little bit of an obsession with building the ultimate pine tree. And you may have seen my video way back where I built this tree. Well, not in Christmas form. I set that up for Christmas. But it is an amazing pine tree nonetheless, and called it the ultimate pine tree. Well, this design is incredibly fragile and takes a lot of pieces to build, and I didn't really want to use that for my Lego city. And as you guys probably know, there's a very common way to build pine trees out of fern pieces, because everyone's doing it. This is definitely not an original idea to me. Even official Lego sets have started using this piece for pine trees. But I will say, although this is not my original idea, I did create a design of my own because I don't like using other people's designs. I tend to like mine better, and I think this is probably the best one I've seen. But let me know what you think. So this is the design I came up with. And I think it looks just fantastic. Now, I am going to build a few different sizes of this. So this is not going to be the only one you see here. I'm actually going to build 6 additional trees and have them all laid out on this board for a total of 7 in 3 different sizes. So as you can see, I've got a lot of stuff laid out on the table here. And I've got all the different stages of the pine tree ready to go. And I'm going to show you how to build each individual section and then stack them together to make a tree. The first piece, the very top, looks like this, and I'll show you how that's built. So real simply, we're going to take 4 fern pieces and just alternate them in 4 different directions, just like that. And then I take these 1x1 rounds, and keep in mind the majority of the parts that go into the center of the tree you're not going to see much of. So as long as it's a darker color, green is always good, or brown, but as long as it's a darker color, it doesn't really matter. So that's how we build our top piece. The next section looks like this. And this is a little bit more complicated. So for this section, we're going to take a 2x2 round plate, and we're going to place our fern leaves all the way around on all 4 sides. I'm going to take another plate, put it in the middle, and do the same thing, but this time I'm going to twist them a little bit so they don't interfere with the previous layer. And give them kind of a square look on the second layer. And then we're going to put one more 2x2 round in there. And then I like to use one of these 2x2 round jumpers right in the middle. And again, the color isn't super important because you're really not going to see much of it at all. There's our second layer. And we can go ahead and take our top portion and stick it right on the top. Now the third portion looks like this. A while back, I tried to get 10 of these, and I accidentally added a 0, and I ordered 100. They were incredibly inexpensive. I think they were a couple cents a piece. But I'm glad I did, because I got originally to make normal like oak trees. They were great for these pine trees. And let me show you how we do this next layer here. So on this layer, I take a 1x1 round brick and put on either side and make kind of this cross piece like this. And then we're going to stack pieces on the underside. The first layer we're going to angle in one direction, all the way around. The next layer we're going to angle in the opposite direction, all the way around. And the third layer will go right in the middle. And it's okay if these have a little variation because, as we know, trees aren't perfect. just like that. Now these will get locked in by the previous layer because that 2x2 jumper is going to sit right over the top. And there's our third layer. The next layer looks like this, and you can see what we're doing. We're just starting with a 1x1 center, 2x2, 3x3, and now a 4x4. To build this layer, the best way I found to do this is start with a 2x2 round and use these corner pieces of plate. I use green, but again, you can use brown, you could even use black. You're not going to see really any of this. So as long as it's a darker color or green or brown, you're fine. Make a cross pattern like that, and then put another 2x2 round right in the middle to hold it together. Now in this one, it's a little tricky. We're going to put a leaf piece angled on each of these crosses, but just on one side, crossing over the middle kind of. Another leaf piece right on top of that one. We're not going to use the other side of the cross. And facing the opposite direction. Now this seems to make a lot of gaps, and it kind of does, but then we're going to flip it over, and we're just going to stick these from this direction. Pinch the center together if you're doing this, because these will pop apart if you're not careful. And then it is nice and full all the way around. And that is our next layer. This will attach right in the middle, just like that. And we're getting pretty close. The next layer looks like this, and I did use gray 3x3s because that's what I had. I had a couple of green ones like this one, but it really doesn't matter. Again, you're probably not going to see that piece at all. Black would be better, or green or brown, but it's okay. You won't really see it. So to build this layer, we're going to start with our 3x3. I use these cross pieces. You could do this with just corners, but it is stronger if you do it this way. I put the crosses on the corners like this, and then green corner pieces to fill in the empty corners. And then I just put 2 green corners on top of this to lock these in so they don't come out. Just like that. From here, we're going to go around the outside, and we're going to put the first layer on, and we're going to put all of these in the same angle away from the center, like this, all the way around on each one of these attachment points, just like that. And it's looking pretty square, but we'll round it out, don't worry. Now we can take a second leaf and go the opposite direction, and it shouldn't interfere much with this one because it's a layer higher. And we'll do that all the way around. This does use a lot of ferns. But as you could tell, I got very excited because I got these on Pick-a-Brick. Lego answered my prayers. So there's our first layer, but we need to make it a little bit thicker, so we're going to flip it over. And then we're just going to take one leaf in the center of each of the tops and put it going outward from the center. And this will really help round it out and give it a little bit more shape. You may have to move some of the pieces around, but these will fit in a legal connection. And that is our 5th layer. Next, to make it attach, we're going to take, I used 1x1 brick, but they don't have to be bricks. They could be round, or they don't have to be square. They could be round. But I like this because it fits nicely in the middle. And then I did do a 1x1 round plate, and this does have to be round because it has to fit into that. It'll just fit nicely together, just like that. And the final layer, or the biggest one, looks like this. And this one takes quite a few pieces. Our base here is going to start with a 4x4. And we're going to put these cross pieces on each corner to turn this into a 6x6. Just like that. After we've done that, we can put a fern on each one of the attachment points, making sure the first layer has the same angle all the way around. That's very important, otherwise the second layer is going to interfere when you do it in the opposite direction. There we go. The next layer will go right on top, but in the opposite direction. And then we're going to flip it over. And we're going to put one fern on each edge all the way around. You can see it starting to turn rounder and rounder as we add more pieces. And then flip it over one more time. We're going to take these corner pieces and stick them right in between. We're going to do the same thing all the way around. Just like that. And we'll take one last fern piece and fill that gap in the middle. If you don't do this, it leaves kind of a big gap here. So that little piece there, just angling it to fill that gap, looks really good when it's all done. Just like that. Now on the bottom here, bottom which is the top because we're building this upside down, 2x2 brick, 1x1 round plate, flip it back over, and then 2x2 jumper in the middle. Now this is our final layer for a normal sized tree. I'm also going to make short trees and extra tall trees. So we need to do our trunk. So we're going to do a 2x2 jumper, Technic pin connector, Technic pin, another connector, and then this will go right into the middle here, and that'll make for our trunk. Then we can attach our layers. Oh, I'm sorry. 2 1x1 plates. Attach our layers, and we have a completed tree. 2 down. Now those two are the same size as the exact same tree, but you can tell I got a lot more parts here. So I'm going to show you some different sizes. First of all, let's do a small one. Top, second layer, third layer, fourth layer, and then on this one we're going to do just the 5th layer, and we're going to skip the 6th layer. So it'll be a little smaller tree. Then we can take our trunk and just put it right in the middle of this 3x3 plate. And there we have it. We'll do one more like that. There's 4 trees. Let me know in the comments if you think if I should add something on top of here. I've thought about running a bar down this and putting one of these on top. But I don't know that I like that any better. It kind of looks too tall and too fake on top. I've also seen people take these and put them on top, but I don't really think that goes with this style tree so much. So I'm going to leave them like that. Let me know if you think I should change that. All right, now let's make a big one. Top, second layer, third layer, fourth layer, fifth layer. Now, one thing I want to point out, I have 2 tops left, 2 of each of these layers. I have 4 of these left, and 3 of these left. Well, I did this on purpose because 2 of these are going to be extra tall, so they're going to have 2 of this 4th layer. Now, when you do 2 of the 4th layer, you're going to take one of the 1x1 plates off and just stack them like this. Then we can put our 5th, which in this case is our 6th layer on, and have an extra tall pine tree. Trunk, top, and now we have a larger size. I'm going to make one more just like that. Pretty soon I will put these in my Lego City, and I am due for an update. I've done a lot of progress, and I need to show you guys where we're at. I've just had so many great videos to make. I'm trying to get through the challenge and everything. I haven't had time to put together a city update, but I owe you guys one, so I'll do one very shortly. Another big one. Put the trunk on the bottom. These are going to look so good in the city, by the way. All right, and I have one final tree here, and this is the middle-sized tree. And you could make these as big or as little as you want. You can also vary them. I've definitely seen people make these where they're a little more thin and you can see through them more. I like a really full tree. Even if it's not necessarily the most realistic, I think it looks the best. You know, Lego, at the end of the day, you want it to look realistic, but at the end of the day, you have to kind of let the parts be what they want to be, you know. And if you make it real patchy, it can look realistic, but it can also look like just a lack of craftsmanship, depending on how you put it together. Well, what do you think? A nice little pine forest there. These are going to look great in my city. Can't wait to give you guys an update. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please leave them below in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. That's all I got for this time, and we will see you next time.